Hello, everyone, and welcome again to What's On at FinTech Talents. In your inbox this morning, our weekly newsletter should be landing, and there's lots of great content for you to consume. So as always, I will share my screen. Excellent, sharing my screen. So this is the very familiar, should be now, content page for FinTech Talents. So why don't we start with some of the original content that we're offering you this week? And I'm going to not go in order. So let's start with our FTT profile, which is one of our new partners, FinArb. So most of you know one of the ways that we introduce new partners to the FinTech Talents community is through a profile. So this week our Q&A is with the COO of FinArb, and she talks a bit about COVID-19, about AI strategies and frameworks. So it's a very interesting Q&A, and I highly recommend that you read through it and learn more about FinArb, and you'll be learning more about the company and its offerings in the coming weeks. Going back to the content page, waiting with the Wi-Fi. Let's see what next we have for you. And I think we have a guest blogger. We have a guest blogger this week. So we have Rita Martins. She is going to be a featured speaker on one of our live debates during FinTech FTT Virtual Spring on June 10th of this year. So she's written a guest blog looking at incumbent banks and their response to the pandemic and some of the struggles and challenges that these banks face when trying to go digital first and digital only. So I highly recommend, of course, I recommend all of our content, you reading through Rita's piece here. As I mentioned again, Rita is one of our featured speakers on June 10th, FTT Virtual Spring. You can register for free, register your interest at www.fintechtalents.com. There's not only content to watch, there are delegates to meet, there's interaction with delegates and speakers, there's networking, there's expo booths. Let me just say, it's not a webinar. Go to the site now and register your interest. We'd love to have you. So what else do we have for content? I think we are probably going to go to our FinTech of the week. So our ongoing series, the third year in a row, second year in a row is FinTech of the week. So it's OpenWorks. OpenWorks were on the FinTech Story stage at the festival last year at Printworks in November. And they're very much in the open banking space. So you can watch a one-on-one video interview with their CEO, Ollie Betts, talking about his dream and his vision for how the open banking ecosystem will evolve over the next few months and years. And you can also watch their stage presence on the FinTech Story stage as a video. So please watch that video to find out more about OpenWorks. So going back to our content page, I'm sure you noticed that we have introduced a new series here at FinTech Talents, which is FTT Chats. So we have this week, not one, but two FTT chats for you. So I'm going to start off with our good friend Will Hackett, who is the head of the FinTech practice at Pangea. Pangea helps startup companies when they start to grow and scale, specifically geographically. So of course, Will, while he's sitting in his back garden with his earbuds and birds and flying planes, talks a lot of really good advice about strategies for scale-up companies and some of the common mistakes that he's seen in his experience. And ever diligent, our Will, he's also offered us some links to some of the playbooks and thought leaders who have thought very closely and analyzed a lot of successful tech companies and what some of these companies do right when you're trying to scale up. So watch that FinTech Talents chat and admire Will's garden. And our next bit of content is, so we have, you noticed, 5 items this week. It's very exciting. So our next FinTech Talents chat, FTT chat, is with Eliot Lim, who is Chief Customer Officer at Mambu. Mambu are one of our lead sponsors for the FinTech Talents Virtual Spring event. So you will see Eliot on stage on the same panel that Rita Martins is on as well. So I sit down and have a chat with him about just about everything, cloud computing, definitions of FinTech, remote teams, and diversity and inclusion. Eliot's a very smart guy, and it's a very interesting interview, and I was very happy to sit down and have that chat with him. So that's on our website now as well. So there you have it, 5 awesome items. I will stop sharing my screen for you to consume. As I mentioned before, did I mention again? FinTech Talents Virtual Spring, June 10th. Register your interest now. Tickets are free. It's going to be not a webinar. It's going to be an experience that you really shouldn't miss. So as always, thank you for tuning in to What's On at FinTech Talents, and stay safe, everyone.